It's okay.
Si no tienes nada que hacer, ponte a escudriñar la Biblia.
Arrepiéntete.
Porque sé que todo es posible para aquel que cree. Creo que Dios me dio talento antes de nacer. Por eso nadie tiene flow como RG. You thought you watching TV, we're at television. This my Walkman, you don't see these type of clever writtens.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to our channel, Real Talk LA Podcast.
Woo!
Hey.
That's energy.
Anyways, today we're gonna talk about. We're not gonna talk about anything. I'm gonna ask questions. There we go. I'm gonna ask questions, and these people are right here are gonna answer them.
Two.
We have Maria. Woo-hoo. Joshua.
Something.
Just kidding. And then we have Adriel. Woo. Y Adriel tiene un talento para nosotros. Just kidding. So do you guys have anything to say before we start?
No.
Nothing? Okay, every time they answer a question wrong,
No.
Here's wrong.
Oh, no?
Don't
never
throw
mind.
beanbag at me.
Never mind. I thought I could, but I guess not. Okay, so to start us off, is there a biblical character in the Bible you identify with, and why? No se peleen.
Do we start left and right?
¿Quién quiere empezar?
Rock, paper, scissors. I'm just kidding.
I think Maria starts left to right.
Yeah, that's right. I
A
like that.
biblical character that I identify with? Ooh.
¿Y por qué?
And why? I think we all identify with Jesus. That I really identify. I think everybody's probably going to say David. I think he's just like the clearest example of what having a relationship with Jesus looks like. You know, even when you make mistakes, you sin, you can be on top of the world or have everything and still feel that you're far away from God because of your certain lifestyle you're living. And I think in the Bible, he proves that a lot, that, you know, he had everything, but that didn't satisfy. The only thing that satisfied was Jesus. And I think I've come to that place too, where I'm like, all these things, stuff doesn't satisfy. I think the only person that satisfies is Jesus for me. So I think I relate to him a lot.
Period.
That's a good one. Yeah, you took the best one. That was great.
Yeah. I was
Good thing I went first.
But someone similar, I'm going to say, is Peter.
Oh.
Peter, the disciple of Jesus. Or are you going to say
Yeah, bro. I don't know what to say now. I don't know what to say now.
Second best.
Wow.
Bro, no, ahora me tienes que ayudar, bro.
No. Yeah, you're done. So yeah, Peter, the man that was able to take that step of faith, walk across the waters to Jesus, even though he did stumble, he did sink, Jesus was still there to pick him up, because it just shows that although we have our best intentions, we have all these, we will still struggle, just like David, similar circumstance. And then like even being around Jesus, his like for Jesus' pretty much whole ministry, like he still failed at the very end, denying Jesus, but he still was able to come back and be like, I'm gonna do better. I'm not just gonna stay here. I'm gonna do better, and repented about, you know, everything he has done.
Period. I like that. Right, Adri?
Oh, yeah. So, I'm going to say not Peter.
Not Peter.
Not Peter.
David.
Not David. But I think the 12 disciples in general, I like the clearest example of how walking with Jesus is, because they were all struggling. They were all they'll even deny Jesus, because it's hard. Because when you go through the, what was the episode we called the valleys, the
Hills and valleys.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard. So I guess that's a good example of.
Nice.
Just the 12 disciples.
The 12 disciples in general. I couldn't think of it.
You couldn't pick Peter, Jennifer.
He didn't have an answer for the question.
No, they're all really good, because if you think about like Judas, he literally was like, no, I don't care, like, and chose to kill himself at the end. So
yeah. So we're all gonna kill
Start
ourselves at the end.
wild.
Or something.
That one's wild. Yeah, that ending is wild. Like, it's just you have to keep choosing God, I think, at the end, and that's what I think Adriel is talking about there.
All right,
Muy
next.
interesante. Próxima pregunta. Yo me identifico con la ballena.
What? Oh, you didn't answer it. What's yours?
Yeah, you gotta answer.
With the whale that ate Jonah. I'm kidding. No, I'm not gonna answer any of the questions.
Why?
So I don't have to think.
Wow.
Is one sin worse than another? Why or why not?
I want to start because the guys are gonna take everything.
Okay, yeah. Go.
I let's see what you have.
Do you
Honest.
think a sin is worse than another?
I think there's no sin worse than another. I think in the eyes of God, all the sins are like the same. Like it's just sinning. If you commit a sin, it's not that it's gonna be worse, and it doesn't also mean that God cannot forgive you. That's how I see it.
All right, I'll add on to that. Yeah, in the eyes of God, all sin is equal. All sin is equally bad, and that's what when in human eyes, it's a completely different story because we don't like comparing murder to like just petty stealing and stuff. But in reality, God will forgive if the person is truly repented, and all sin is equal in that case. I think there was something that if you mock the Holy Spirit, that God will not forgive you. I think that's a slight exception.
Yeah, it says in the Bible.
Oh, that's scary.
Don't mock the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, I think, like they said, sin is sin in God's eyes. Obviously, there is extremes, and I like to mention this, that there's extreme stuff that goes on, and people commit these crazy stuff, and there is extreme consequences to it. You're not gonna tell me, for example, if you steal an orange, it's the same as murdering someone in the law, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, with God, sin is sin, but you're forgiven no matter what. I've seen people, from stealing to murdering, come to Jesus even in when they're fulfilling their sentences in jail and stuff. So there's redemption for you, But yeah, I mean, if it's in the law and stuff like that, obviously there's like no coming back from that.
I think it's really important what you said. Like there's consequences.
There's consequences, yeah. And but it starts like that. Like you need to take it in that place. Like I know there's people that say like, for example, some substances are like gateway drugs. There's sins that are like gateway sins to like doing more extreme stuff. Even though sin is sin, you start lying, you start cheating, you start doing stuff. It elevates you to where you become numb to the stuff that you're doing and you're partaking, and you start elevating yourself into deeper stuff that could have even higher consequences. So that's something to really think about. Yeah.
Wow, very good. Empieza a predicar. Okay. What is one question that if you were in front of God, you'd ask him? What is one question you'd have for God, or Jesus for that matter?
Wow.
¿Por qué me hiciste eso? No.
I don't know. I really don't know. That one. I don't think I would have a question for him, to be honest.
It's like the question of, what would you rather, have $1 million or talk with Jesus in person? It's like I can already talk to him. I can already be with him. I can already have a relationship with him, and that's why I would rather have the $1 million, because I already have the other thing. I think it's kind of like
Yo
that
también
for me.
tomaría los $1,000.
I would take the $1 million.
I'm kidding. Okay. What are some ways the Bible is still relevant in people today?
Every aspect.
Wait, what you say?
Why is the Bible relevant
today? How is the Bible relevant today?
It's in every aspect.
Yeah, but what would you say, like, for example, like a youth, or a young person that would say like, the Bible like was written 1,000,000 years ago, like it's so like out of date? How would you let them know, like, well, give them examples of how it's still relevant today with like the stories and stuff?
If you pay attention, honestly, I can answer that one. If you pay attention to when Moses is establishing like his community, and how there was so much stuff that they were bringing in from Egypt, like even like outlaws came, people that were like doing crimes came, and what he ends up doing is that he ends up establishing like laws, which we use today. I think we can all say like without laws it would be chaos in the US, and there was like a penalty for everything that you would do, and there was like a repercussion, and you had to do certain things. And I think that's really important, because that's like, the initiation of democracy in its ways too, which is what we all like today. We love democracy. We love rules and regulations because it keeps us safe and it keeps a community strong. So that's one of the aspects that I think I learned from the Old Testament that I can say that like we use today. It's relevant today in that aspect. And also morality. But you guys talk about that.
You can also take the aspect that God never changes. So the times may change, but God never changes. So his love remains, and it's always been impacting the generation from generation to generation. And we have to take into account that the Bible will remain relevant as long as we're still on earth here.
I think I did. That's fine.
That's it. That's all it has to say.
Okay. Describe good leadership. What is
Let's start
good
with Adriel.
leadership to you?
I want to see.
I want to see what Adriel has to.
Oh my god. I guess being a good leader means being an example for the ones who follow you. Like Jesus always tried to show us how a good leadership was. Because if you remember, there's like a verse, I think it's in Luke 23:35. I remember because I read
Bible verses.
I read it recently. It's where Jesus is being crucified, and he starts praying to God and saying, "God, forgive them." Can I say it in Spanish and someone translate?
Sí, no, it's bilingüe.
¿Es bilingüe?
Este episodio es bilingüe.
I've been talking in English this whole time. That's
but
crazy.
Maria has to translate.
With an accent.
Oh, okay, I'll translate for you.
Cuando dice Dios perdónalos porque no saben lo que hace.
When he says, God, forgive them because they do not know what they are doing.
And I think that's just I'm gonna just give it.
Yeah, you can do bilingual. Do your.
I mean, okay. Y yo creo que ese es el mejor ejemplo que Jesús nos deja de el amor que se debe reflejar como un líder, porque él era un líder, era un ejemplo que todos debemos seguir. Entonces, pues yo pienso, yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it a step further. Jesus also showed that a true leader is a one that would get down and dirty, wash the disciples' feet, wash the people's feet, do things that don't seem fit for a leader, because a lot of people feel like when they're a leader, they deserve so much more. They deserve so much more. But the thing is, to become a leader, you first have to be a servant. And that's what makes a good leader.
I think that's why a lot of a lot of rejection came towards Jesus when he first came, because the Jews were expecting a whole like king like entrance, like they were expecting this like great, and when they didn't see that in Jesus, they saw him eating with the prostitutes. They saw him with people that really were considered in society like broken and dishonored, disband, and so I mean, I think to be a leader is like to embrace and think of people, like even the broken people, as like God loves them too, finding that God values everybody, not just, people that come in, they look great and, they can just partake. And no, there's a lot of people that are coming broken and stuff. And you just have to have that heart of Jesus to be a great leader and to see that, everybody's worth saving.
Yep.
Facts.
Let's start. She has those written down. Facts. Yes.
Facts. Yes.
Good job.
Good job.
Hallelujah.
Gold star for you.
Period. Big purr. I don't know. What does following Jesus look like to you?
The same thing we just talked about right
Yeah.
now. Being a servant,
I was like, wait.
serving the people, loving God with all your heart.
There's up and downs.
Yep. Forgiving when you don't want to forgive. All these attributes: love, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness. All these things.
Yeah, it's just like imperfection, being perfected through him, basically. So think of yourself as a very squiggly line getting, straighter and straighter as you go. You walk more with Jesus, the straighter you become, and the more closer to God you get. You line out, you flatten out all of those wrinkles and imperfections as you go along. And there's never going to be a moment for you to be perfect, but as closer you can be with Jesus, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
When do you guys personally feel closer to God? Like throughout your day, like when is it that, or throughout the week, when is it that you feel closest to God?
To go first?
Nah, I mean, you want to go?
I can go first.
You moved. You were like,
Okay.
You twitched.
Yeah, you twitched.
That was your sign.
Well, I read the Bible every day with my family at night.
As you should.
But yeah, of course. But I think I really like when I'm worshiping, when I'm in arriba, and when I'm worshiping, because I feel like it's just me praising to God.
For me, it would be more in the intimate moments, the moments where there's no distractions, the moments where it's just like me and him just talking, because like a lot of us tend to be distracted throughout the whole day, but those moments are the moments I feel the most peace, the most at peace.
To me, it's like those moments where you're really frustrated and you don't know which way is up or down. Even like throughout your day, you're like, oh, you have so many things to do, especially as a parent, and you're working. And it's in those moments where I just feel his peace, and he's just like, it's okay. It's going to be okay. You can get through this.
Yep.
And it's crazy because it's in those moments. It's not actually in the moments where it's all good. Like, I love God and I feel connected to him and I don't have to do much, to really be there. But when I'm in this place of like, I don't know what I'm going to do, that's when I feel him like the closest. Like he's my rescuer. He comes to my rescue. So I like to find him in the chaos. I'm sorry.
She puts herself in problems.
I'm like, yeah, you know who I am? I'm Forky. I'm just constantly throwing myself in the trash. I want the Lord's attention. You know what? Now that you're saying that, there's this song, and a lot of people say this. Like, I don't know if you guys ever heard that song, Favorite One. Here I am, your favorite one. And then somebody put, fun fact, Jesus doesn't have favorites. But I'm like, it's not that Jesus has favorites. It's just that you feel so loved by God and so close to him, you feel like you're his favorite person.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, that song always reminds me of that. Like, I know he doesn't have favorites, but I always feel so blessed, and like he makes me feel special, Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm still like, okay. I want the Lord's attention.
I want the Lord's attention. I love him.
That's so mean. Okay. Which do you guys prefer, the Old Testament or the New Testament, and why?
Ooh, definitely New Testament.
Yeah, I like
The New Testament.
if you the Old Testament for the stories, the New Testament for
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
for the
I mean,
For the Jesus.
Jesus.
Honestly, yeah, it's like Jesus is like.
it's like I like it because it's like formatted to the point where it's like you got the journey, and then you got what the journey was leading to,
Yeah.
and that's it's like. Yeah, I like more towards the season finales, It hasn't ended yet, but
Yeah, because even in the Old Testament, they give so many hints of Jesus, and it's like a coming, like when he promises David, like somebody from your bloodline is gonna sit, with me on my right, and like it's like, oh, that's Jesus. Wow. Yeah.
New Testament?
New Testament.
Everyone. Nobody likes the Old Testament.
Do you like the new one?
It's not
or
my
the old
favorite.
one?
I like them both, but
Do I
it's
like
not my
the,
favorite.
what'd you say?
Which one you like more?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I like them. Cause see, I like the Book of Job a lot, but I also like, I don't know. It's like, it's 50-50 for me, like Joshua. It's like, well, not 50-50, but like I like both. I guess, I don't know.
Oh, everyone likes
They're both good. They're both good,
Yeah.
but the favorite's just the season finale.
Season finale.
No, but I will say this. I am jealous of the fact that in the Old Testament, there were characters and people that really like almost saw God face to face.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's something that I'm like, wow.
Like the stories in the Old Testament are
Yeah, the stories are crazy.
chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Okay. What is the difference between being spiritual and being religious?
Didn't we just talk about this?
Well, yeah.
Pastor
I
kinda
think
gave it away.
religious is just like doing something because it's part of your routine. Because it's
Your
Sunday and
Tradition.
and you're like, oh, it's Sunday, let's go to church, and you just go to church and then you leave and that's it. And
There's no change. There's nothing like really in you, flowing in you or out of you. It's just like you go. Like, it's almost like going to, for me, it's like almost going to work. Like, you just do it because it's like your duty. But it's not doing anything in you and for you.
Oh.
It's more like an obligation.
Yeah,
pretty much everything
spiritual,
that they said.
having a relationship with God.
Yeah.
Is there a point? I'm sorry, did I cut you off?
No, you go.
Is there a point in time where you guys felt like you were religious instead of spiritual, or where you guys felt more religious instead of having a relationship with Jesus? I know I went through it. I went through a time where I was religious.
I'll start. For me, it was when I was younger. You know, when I was growing up, it really wasn't like revealed to me, mostly because I had like no brain. I was tiny.
It's because it was the same for me, because I grew up in a family where my parents were already Christians, so they took me to church, and I'm like a kid, and I don't know what's going on.
But
I'm
I
just
think
going because
you
they
can call
told me
that
to.
that you hadn't had your experience with God
I
yet.
just said I had a
like
small
to say
brain.
that.
Small brain.
Small brain.
No, because I think you have to have some type of like point in life where you're like, wow. And that's something that I pray for my daughter all the time, because I'm like, I don't want her to live off of my experience. I don't want to be the adult or the mom that's like, well, when I was a little girl, you know, Jesus saved me. No, I want her to have her own experience with Jesus. And I think that's like the difference, I guess, maybe.
Small brain.
Yeah.
Small brain.
Okay. What would you tell the youth or people watching? What advice would you give them on what to do when they're in doubt?
When in doubt, pray it out.
When in doubt.
I mean, doubting is a natural thing that a lot of humans have. We are skeptics a lot of the time, but we have to understand, like, we don't. If you have like doubt about scriptures and all these things, sometimes it's mostly because I've said this before to a lot of people, that they don't really know the person that they're like, oh, why are we going to church? They don't understand. They don't know who it is, because all they're doing is hearing what other people have to say, but they don't really know themselves. They're just basing everything on what other people say and not what the scripture says. That supports doubt. That will support your faith. That will support your faith very strongly if you just read the word and got to get to know what kind of person Jesus was on earth.
Also, like, what he's already done for you. Like, looking back, and I saw this a lot in the Old Testament, where they were like, where did God take you out from Egypt, from slavery, from this? It's like, remember what, you know, where he took you out of. If he was able to take you out of this, because he's real, it's because he's here, it's because he's in your heart, he's in your life. And I think a lot on my life that I think about that, where would I be today if I didn't have that experience with God, you know? And honestly, in my family, I can see a lot of like future, like, where would I be? So I'm like, because a lot of them don't have God. And so I'm like, yeah, that's what I'd be doing that and doing that to my daughter and, you know, all this stuff. So I always try to remember like what God did for me and is done for me, so that it would refresh my spirit and knowing like he's real, he's here, and he's done a lot of things in my life that I personally couldn't have done. That's for me, though. I don't know about you.
No, I agree.
I agree. I agree.
Okay. What question am I at? I found myself. How can I tell my friends about faith and Christianity? Like, how do I invite them to church? Like, how?
He's got this one.
He's got this one.
I think I like more. Yeah, you can talk about how God has helped you in your life. Like, I think telling your testimony is really important, because people can see what you've been through, and maybe sometimes they can relate. But I also like to I think it is important to work on yourself to be more like him, so that they can see, oh wait, he's really nice, and I just did this to him and he didn't care, and they can see the love. And I think that's really important, because they be like, I want that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Especially when you like other gone through a lot of things in his life, so he's like, I believe, I trust, and I love, I forgive, and I do all these things, and a lot of people can't let go to that, and that's just a huge impact, and that's what could also allow you. So sometimes it's the reflection. So to those that want to share the faith, first you got to see, are you reflecting it? So like, if you're in a friend group and you're not reflecting any kind of love whatsoever, then like talking to them about Jesus for them is gonna be like, what? Why are you telling me about this?
Are you Christian? I didn't know.
You're Christian.
I didn't
Wait,
even
you were
know.
Christian this whole time?
You're Christian this whole time?
This whole time I thought
couldn't
you were
tell.
like, I don't know. about you, Mari?
Yeah, I think that's very important. Like living your faith, not just like speaking and stuff. And also too, like there's so many opportunities that people give, and sometimes we're just like, oh, not me, not me. They're like, I'm going through a tough situation. You know, this happened to me in my life. They start to share, right? And for me, it's worked where I share something similar, and I'm like, yeah, this and this happened. They're like, what? It doesn't look like that happened to you. You don't look like what you went through. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's because God worked in my life and was able to take me out. And now, you know, yes, that happened to me, but it doesn't define me. Yep. I'm somebody perfected in him. And I think that's something they can see in me. And that kind of people, they'll be attracted to that. Like, they'll want to be your friends. They'll want to see how you did it. They want to see where you're getting what you're receiving. Like Adriel said, like that light, like you're different. Whether the world is cold, you're warm, you know? Where there's no love, you're loving. So I think that's a perfect way of, you know, showing people that Christ is real and sharing the gospel.
Quick little testimony, actually. This Sunday que pasó, the Sunday that just passed, obviously my family, we have been Christian since 2010, and we have like tias, tios, primas, uncles, whatever, and we'd always like bring them to church, and some of them have come and gone. Then I have like those cousins who aren't like interested, and then in like, you know, really like bad pasos. And we tell them obviously, but they're like super like never like interested whatsoever. And then on Sunday during service, my tia calls me and she's like, yeah, I want to ask you something. And it's like, it's really important because, you know, I just, because like my cousin Rafael, like he asked, and I was like, okay, like, what is it? And she was like, whenever you go to church, can you pick him up? Because he wants to go. And I was like, what? Like him, really? And I was like, all right. So then I texted him and I was like, hey, my tia, like, because at first I was like, what if she's making him go or whatever. And I was like, hey, my tia just told me that you wanted to like start coming to church. And she's like, yeah, I do. And I was like, oh, okay, great. Let me just send you like all the links. And I sent him the link to the Real Talk. I sent him the link to the youth page, the church page.
She
But
was like, follow these links before you come. You're not allowed to come if you don't follow us.
Well, no, but I mean, like, to start off, like, maybe he could like check it out
a little bit of the church.
I was like, how did she start plugging us immediately?
I was like, here, watch this. Just in case he, you know, I was thinking about it. I was like, just in case he like ends up changing his mind realistically. Like, what if he changes his mind and doesn't want to come to church? But I was like, just in case, just have that. But it was funny because we would invite them so many times and they wouldn't want to. And like our family had to take a step back and not do anything and just let our family like testimony, I guess, speak for itself. Mm-hmm. And then they contacted us. So that was nice. Anyways.
Is he
okay.
coming? Is he coming to church or what?
So is he coming in?
I said he never texted back, but I'm gonna call him. Because now I'm gonna drag him.
She's gonna affirm him.
No, she's gonna
drag him. Okay.
You signed the contract, buddy.
Yeah.
It's too late.
Let's see. How can I tell what music is bad and what music is good? What if it doesn't have like, or movies or books or whatever, opening it up to those two? What if they don't have bad words, or what if they aren't explicit? What if they don't have bad things in them? What do you guys think?
I like what Pastor said once. If Jesus was right next to you, will he like, what would you be hearing? Like
would you pass him the aux?
Would he vibe?
Would he
Oh, Maria.
Just kidding. I don't know.
I think that's like the easiest way to answer the question. I don't know, because I feel like there's romantic songs that, I mean, te quiero, te quiero, te quiero.
No, es la que te canta.
You know? But
yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yeah. You just gotta look at the message it's trying to impart. In every song there's a message, right? There's not it's just not a bunch of random words just thrown in. They all have a message. Some positive, some negative, and most of the time they're really negative, especially like we tend to, like, after like breakups or in our tough times, we tend to put that depressing music. We tend to put that let me just throw a few artists out. We tend to put that Joji, that Frank Sinatra. We have all these other things.
What year were you born?
You don't know who
sir?
Frank Sinatra is?
Who's that?
Well, I respect it. I only know because of some of my friends. They put it all the time, and I'm like, "Are you okay, man? Are you okay?"
Frank Sinatra's okay. He has some good songs.
What?
She's defending it.
Why?
Who's that?
I like Frank Sinatra.
Really old.
I want to listen to.
Oh
his
wait,
song.
no, wait. That's not Frank Sinatra. It was something else.
Like, why
It was
Frank
something else.
Sinatra?
Frank Ocean.
Frank Ocean.
Oh,
That's what I
okay.
said,
I'm like,
not Frank Sinatra.
You know what I'm
I
talking
messed it
about?
up.
I was like, why don't you like Frank Sinatra?
You could have corrected me. Then. No, Frank
Excuse
Sinatra's
me,
the
Frank
old one.
Sinatra, Heaven.
Fly
I'm
me
in
to the
heaven.
moon. No, that was
There
funny.
you go. Or
Yeah, those are the
New
classics.
York.
I don't know any of these.
No.
Period.
But I'm talking about like the depressed artists. You got a bunch of them that like this is not the right thing to put on. They're gonna impart what you want them to impart. You feel bad. You want to feel worse. Is that what you're doing? You just gotta watch what you listen to. And honestly, most of the music nowadays is just garbage.
It is.
It's pure garbage. It's
Besides
pure
Spice.
garbage.
What?
Spice.
Thought we weren't gonna talk about.
You mentioned artists that are trash, so I was like, I space. What about you, Maria?
Yeah, I think there's songs that are like, for romantic purposes, but there's also songs that, they're just not going to edify you in any way.
The Weeknd.
And people can say, well, it has a cool, for example, somebody asked me this, and this is nothing against this artist, but somebody said, do you think it's wrong to listen to Taylor Swift? And I said, okay, look at her life. Like, is she living a good, for somebody as a good role model for you? I don't think so.
Travis Scott.
But she has some songs
Ray's just
that
throwing artists in there.
she has some songs that they're like about girlyhood things teenagers go through. I understand all that. Like, I'm not saying it's like like go and throw out all your stuff, but just look at the person, and you'll see an example. Is this a person you should be following? Is this a person or the songs edifying your life in any way? Yeah, so just be careful in that aspect. I personally think I had to really cancel a lot of artists in my Spotify because of that. Because I'm like, yeah, this isn't good for me.
Billie Eilish.
Yeah. Billie Eilish was one of them. And I was like, but it doesn't say anything wrong. But you listen to the melodies and you listen to the lyrics, you're like, yeah, this is not good.
I guess
Some
she
of her-
really is a bad guy.
Yeah. You're a bad guy.
Were you gonna defend her?
No. I was gonna say some of her, most of her songs are very dark and
Doja Cat.
depressive.
And she gave
sad.
a testimony actually about I think she was really into pornography at a really young age, and she says that really distorted her. So you can understand what's going inside that person. It's coming out, distorted images, distorted behavior. So yeah, I think that's a hard one. That's a difficult one. I think music to a lot of people is a very touchy subject.
No, it really is.
But it's because of that. Guess who was in charge of worship in heaven? You think about that, and who's doing that now here? So
I know some people that would fight to the death defending their artists.
no, I watch sometimes when they're bashing on an artist, the fans, they go hard, she had a hard life.
I got you with a few more Bad Bunny.
Leave
Oh,
Britney
Peso
alone.
Pluma.
Oh no, that's crazy. Please, anybody who listens to that here, no, I won't judge you, but a little bit.
No, I
maybe.
judge
A little bit.
Gloves off on this
Gloves
one.
off on this one. Dude, and it just makes your spirit feel bad. You
Dirty.
listen to it at a supermarket. I'm not saying I'm super spiritual, but man, it really makes me uncomfortable. Star's like, yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too.
She's taking him off of her playlist.
But
Okay. How can I avoid wrong influences if I live with them?
Yeah, you got it, Josh.
yeah, well, if you I know that means you live with your family that are terrible influences, and I've seen I know a bunch of my friends that have that same impact, that they've gone off the rails because their family supports the habits that they have. And the thing is, at some point we just have to understand, if you understand that they're bad influences, you have to start taking things into your hands. You got to take accountability for yourself. You may not be able to be accountable for what they do, but you can be accountable for what you do. And a lot of us tend to just take the easy way and just go with the flow, and that's not what Jesus called us to do. He called us to fight against that current that could be in your family, that could be in your friends. Everyone in the world can impact you in different ways, but you have to go against that current.
Yeah, and I think if also goes with what we said before, like if you can be that change, if you can show how Jesus really is, maybe your family can start changing too.
It starts with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is true, because I think my sisters and I, after seeing like living what we lived in our childhood, seeing like our parents' marriage and like where it leads, and a couple of like relatives in our family, how they live their lives, it really brought us to a place of like, we don't want that. We want to be different, and Jesus is the only way that has allowed us to be able to do that. We couldn't do it in our own strength.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay. I like how you guys basically said to, fight against the current and decide to be the change. Because it ties in with the next question. What is it? When dealing with authority or parents, or I guess higher ups, how can we say or do things or make a point without sounding disrespectful or argumentative? Because what if we're trying to fight through the like against the current, but our parents or people find it disrespectful?
I think the best ways, like I said, like showing them, like for example, your parent is I don't know, like give me an example of
like let's say tus padres quiere, or your parents want to take you to an easy example. They want to take you to a party, right? You don't want to go. You don't want to go to this party.
Mijo, vamos a la fiesta, mijo. No seas así.
Or like your parents want to take you to a party. This is probably a bad example. It's the only example I could think of right now. They want to take you to a party. You say no, and they're like, "You're being disrespectful and rebellious against us. Where it's a family party, you have to go." La, la, la. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Is that tu tío Samuel?
No, I mean, I'll tell you right now that was me actually when I was that age, and I had to go. She was my mom. She was the authority over me, and that didn't make me any less Christian to go. Did I participate? No. Did I drink? No. Did I party? No. But you can show them like, okay, I'll go, but I'm going to take a stand in my own way as well. Prove that I'm different in my own way.
Yeah.
So that was my way going through that, doing that. It just really reflected on, why I was the way that I was. And then surely enough, my mom ended up respecting my decisions. And then after a while, she wouldn't invite me anymore. So, yeah.
So you found compromising was your way?
Yeah, and still today. I mean, like they say, family's family. So me and my husband, we go to my family. He doesn't really like going, but we go. We make an appearance. We eat, we say hi to everybody, and then we say goodbye to everybody right after. We make an appearance. We please the family, but we also we're not gonna do whatever you guys are doing after. So bye.
And you said because you were also saying when they get offended, you feel like they're getting offended. It's also the way we also tell them these things, because a lot of time we take it out of a place of anger and self-righteousness, and we have to just do it with a kind heart, very, very quietly, super vulnerable. I don't want to go to this. I'm sorry, I just don't feel comfortable. And if they make you go, you go. But like Maria said, you're gonna be a different person. You're not gonna partake. You're not gonna go, well, I'm already here, might as well.
Pásame la copita.
Yeah, no.
Okay, what is a great way to choose friends?
You don't.
We don't want friends.
No, but when it comes to choosing friends, sometimes the choice isn't really your choice. It just happens sometimes. But you just gotta understand who the person is, because we can't judge a book by its cover. Always, we can't just be oh, this person looks like he's a bad person, so I'm not gonna be a friend with him. You gotta really get to know what the person is, the fruits, and you gotta understand what position you are in. Because if are you the influence, or are you being influenced?
Okay, Oprah.
This episode of Joshua Oprah Winfrey.
So you just gotta know the kind of person you are in that moment. Because if you're really easily like pushed over, like ya caes en pecado, in sin, then you really need to be more careful with the type of people you surround yourself in the daily.
Yeah, I mean, you need to, like Joshua said, look at the fruits and look at who they are, as well. Like, what would they bring into your life? Like, something good, something positive, but also to look at it also as an aspect of something positive you can bring into their life as well. Because some acquaintances and some friendships are inevitable, but you still can make an impact and be respectful, be kind, embrace, love, accept. And, especially in family, you can't choose your family. I'm sorry. You have to love and accept them no matter what.
I won the lottery.
It's true. You can't. The only thing you can do is just love them, respect their decisions. Because one thing that I learned is like you can't live everyone's life for them, but you can very well be of influence and be kind and be the best person. Yeah, be the difference. And they'll see you as guidance. I'm sure there'll be a time where they'll come to you for advice because you're in this different place than they were, and you've accepted them instead of judged them. So
what are some it says 3 pieces, but you guys, if you can't think of 3, you guys can only do 1. What are some advice that you'd give your teen self now looking back?
Oh yeah, buddy.
How would you
Compórtate.
escudriña la Biblia.
I would just hug myself. Be like, it's okay.
Si no tienes nada que hacer, ponte a escudriñar la Biblia.
Arrepiéntete.
That's hilarious.
It's interesting. How young we talking?
Because I'm still really young. It's true. He's really young still.
What about me?
Empiezas a llorar,
Oh,
¿verdad?
you too.
I'm even more younger than him. Come on.
Let me answer that because I'm older than you guys.
Yeah.
Yay.
Money
Finally,
gotta
my
adjust,
age
yeah.
has a...
And her age is... Just kidding. Women don't give out their age.
Not anymore. Not at this point. It's embarrassing.
She's like her mid-30s.
No. No, I'm barely
I'm
gonna
offended
turn
for her.
30. I'm offended. No, but I think one thing I would tell my younger self is basically like love yourself, I mean, outside of, Jesus and all that stuff, obviously, look for Jesus. But, accept yourself, love yourself. Don't look for acceptance in others, trying to people please all the time.
Know your value.
Know your value and self-respect. A lot of self-respect. And I think when I was young, I was very I had a very low self-esteem. So I think just that. Love yourself. Be kind to yourself. You're a good person.
Starts crying.
You want to say anything?
That's all going through my head. It's so repeating. I can't think of anything. That's why I looked at you. I was like, "Ponte escudriña la Biblia." And
No, but don't make it spiritual. What would you tell yourself?
Patience. A lot of patience.
There you go.
A lot of patience.
Lot of
Forgiveness.
Lot of
Forgiveness. Tell my older self to let go. Grow up. Just
Grow up.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You're still not telling that to
Be
yourself now?
confident. Yeah.
You should listen to yourself right now. Okay.
I want to hear once he's 30 what he says about that.
He's still gonna say, "Grow up."
grow up. Get a clue. No, those are good ones, huh?
Yeah, I like that. Those are good. A ver, Adri.
De chiquito.
Tan chiquito todavía, dice.
I don't know. It's because
Nothing. I'm perfect.
I'm perfect. I guess there was a time when I went away from Jesus, I guess. So I'll be like...
You'd be like,
Get up.
Stay right here, buddy.
Stay right here.
You think you have it bad? Bah, bah. When
Yeah,
you're
just-
19, you're going to have it worse.
Yeah, what he said, yeah. I'll be like that.
Wow.
Just kidding.
He'd beat himself.
That's it.
I'll just be like, be careful, be careful.
That's all the
And
questions.
be very careful.
Be very careful.